Well, hello everyone. The Ontario Gardener here, back with a brand new series. This is called Factorytownidle. Now, I did play Factory Town. This is a game spin-off right from that. This is more of a clickable and idle game where, you're not going and building quarries like by hand. You're not building pathways. You're doing it all by clicking. You'll see it as we get into it, but it's a fun game. It runs in the background. If you're kind of offline, it'll still run in the background as long as it has materials and things like that. And again, this is brought to you by the people who make Factory Town, which is another game that I really would like to get back and do a series on again, but we're not there yet. Unfortunately, the game, it is out on Steam, of course. I think right now it's like $6 Canadian, probably $4 or $5 US, and then whatever it is the rest of the world, your local currency. But anyway, it's well worth it if you like Factory Town. You like kind of clickable, kind of idle city builders. Pick it up. It's very cheap. There's also a demo as well. Unfortunately, there is no music in the game. You have sound effects and you have master volume. There's no music in the game, unfortunately. Hopefully that gets added later, but as you see, I've been playing a little bit, but we're going to start a brand new game, and this is going to be called Ontario Town of Fun. Town of Fun. Town of Fun. That looks kind of weird. Let's just call it Ontario Town. It's called Ontario Town. And we're going to jump right into it. And this looks like the way things are listed, and you have wood, you have trees, you have crops. It looks very much how the game works. Like all the graphics are pretty much the same, and it's because again, it's a spin-off. It's by the developers who made Factory Town, etc., etc. So when you start off, you have clickables, and at the top, as we go along, this bar up here will be filled with a lot more kind of sections, I guess, and you kind of have to follow. You have your quests here, and you kind of follow the quest, and that's exactly how Factory Town works as well. You follow the quest, you build your city up, or you build your town up. Over here is your resources that you have. Now, natural resources are things like trees, and if you hover over top of it, it basically tells you you have natural resource regeneration of various, natural resources, basically like grain and trees and stone, etc., and wood and whatever. Right now, it's basically you have your surplus, you have actual potential. This is basically how every window will look as you go on. And right now, crops are wood, which basically we have 0 inventory. And right now we have clickable power 1, we're level 0. Next, we get to level up at level 20. Up here, there will be things that change. Again, you can click on this. It doesn't really give you any options that we had from before. And basically, you click it. Every time you click, I'm going to turn the volume slightly down for you guys. You click, and you get things. And you can literally just click and 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 click. And you can just do this indefinitely because it's clickable. But we hit our 50 goal. You hit our claim your prize. We can now get the buildings menu. And then we also get a quest coin. Now, quest coins, I'll show you up here. This is, it won't let me click on it to show you what they are because we're not quite there. So we have to build houses. But you see here we have called buildings. So what we can build right now is housing. Houses cost 4 wood, and they take up 1 land tile. Up here in the top, it tells you how many land tiles you have currently. This is your population, of course, or your workers. And then here it tells you your town level and how many you need to get to the next level. And then here's the plains. This is the biome that we're in. As you kind of complete the biomes, you can choose different biomes to go into. Currently, this is the plain, so this is what you get as a bonus: 25% land, unique resources, cotton, unique resources, apple, crafting speeds for different things, 100%. And these are bonuses or negatives, I guess, based on the different biomes. So we started with a plains biome. So anyway, we got to build some housing. How many houses do you want? 3. You can click and you can load it up here. If you hover over this one, it tells you basically the worker speed, how much wood we have. If you hover over here, this is the big thing. You want these numbers to be in green. Right now it says, our demand is 1. Not anymore. It was 1.5, but we were bringing in 0 because we're not harvesting trees. Let's claim this again. Now we have harvesting. So your menus, you're going to end up with I think 6 or 8 or 10 menus at the top here. But as you go along, you start off and you go like this because that's kind of how it works. Okay, let's go here. Now, can we click on this? We still can't click on this. Won't let me do that quite yet. So our goal is to build 5 houses. If you click build, and here it tells you, we already did this part. So it's already, there we go, crops. So we're demanding 2, supplying 2. We have 0 coming in, which is why we're at a deficit. Now we have 5. We only have 5 left. We actually can't build as many because we don't have what we need, unfortunately. So we can just click and click. And that's going to be good enough for now. Let's go back into our buildings. We have 5 housing, and we need to assign workers. So it's like, okay, what do you do with workers? Well, nothing here, nothing here. This is like your build menu. This is your clickables, which is what makes this game unique. If you need a bunch of trees, and you click them and you get them. And we can level up to the next one. Always tells you how many you need. This is going to be for all the resources as you get into those. Buildings, we can only do housing. Again, as you unlock things with your quest, you unlock things. Here we unlock a lumber mill, get another quest coin, etc. So harvesting. Basically, the trees are being harvested from the natural resources. Right now, we're producing 3.13. If you click on a worker, it's basically it's harvesting for us. But the thing is, though, is we're full, right? So we really aren't doing anything. So we can assign all 5. It doesn't do anything. Or all, we have 5 workers. It doesn't do anything right now because it says it's full. So right now we're not bringing in any wood because it's full. We're not using any wood right now. So there you go. So you click on your claim and there it unlocks your lumber mill. You can now do planks and we get a quest coin. Now we'll let us click on the quest coins. It still doesn't. I think we can do that. Menu crafting. So here we have to build a lumber mill. So again, this is looking very similar to like the regular factory town, because once you get workers, the first thing you want to build is lumber mill, and you just basically build one. And once we start producing, once this is in production, I'll show you how this actually is going to work. Harvesting, we can actually cut. See, we're actually harvesting now. You hover over this, it tells you at the bottom your actual production speed is plus 1.8 trees or wood per second, which is good. Let's cut 2 of these back, and we're going to go to buildings, and we're going to, now you can choose how many workers you want to have here. This, I believe, is just what it can store. And then the lumber mill produces these items. You click build, and basically, oh, sorry, I don't want to build that. I don't want to go to build that yet. I want to, oh, I can't do that yet. Never mind. Now we can do it. Sorry. I want to go to the crafting menu. Excuse me. So here we have our lumber mill. The lumber mill, this tells you how many you have. You click on this to build more. And then here we're making planks. And so let's just get 2 people making planks. Or, well, I guess 1 person making planks. Because, oh, no, sorry. Because it's number, this is a little bit different because here you don't actually put people towards these. You put, like, we have 1 lumber mill. So we can do 1 lumber on, like, 1 lumber per mill, if that makes sense. And if you hover over this one on the left, you hover over anything, it tells you things. So right now, basically, we're potentially making 0.25. We're actually producing 0.25, and we have a surplus of 0.25 per second because we're not using any. Here, we're bringing in, see, if you look at lumber mill planks, we're demanding 0.5, we're supplying 0.5. Potentially, we could harvest 0.9. We're only actually potentially 0.5 because our surplus is 0.4. So on the left here, you want all these always to be green. If they're yellow, that means you're at a slight deficit. If they're red or blank, you're basically empty. So right now we're doing fine with this. We have a surplus of, actually click on this, we have a surplus of 0.4. We can build another lumber mill. And obviously things go down as you build them because it takes resources to build a lumber mill. Of course, it actually takes 35 wood. So that's why our wood went down. Now we're making a surplus. If we put another one here, now, and it also tells you right here, this little next to your amount you have. Right now, we're actually at a 0.03 deficit, which is very little, but all we got to do is put another person. Now we're at a positive, So, I mean, as you go along, this whole side gets filled up. You can see what your surplus is or what your deficit is. And as long as your surplus is more than 0, you're fine. I mean, you want to keep it at, not like you don't need to have 1 per second bonus, because that's a lot. So here we go. As we're doing now is we're going to keep harvesting, and then basically you're, like, most of these things can hold 50 things, and once that hits, yeah, you can see here it says inventory 50. When it hits 50, then everything stops because you can't produce more than what you can hold, and that's how the game works as well, the main game. So we actually have 1 extra customer here, or 1 extra worker. Right now we have to build 3 lumber mills in total, and if you want to build a lumber mill, like, from your crafting menu, you can do it through here or do it through your building menu. It doesn't matter. Doing it through your crafting menu is easy because you just click it. We're at a deficit now because here it says construction lumber mill. We're demanding 7 per second because it costs 46, and it takes how long to build? Does it tell you? It doesn't tell you how long it takes to build. But anyway, as it's constructing, you can pause the lumber mill. You can build another one here from here. You can remove it, removing one, etc. All right, we claimed our next star, so we can now build a general store and quest coins. Can we click on these yet? I think we have to reach 10 before it allows us to click on the perks, which is very cool in itself. So Now the goals are build a general store and reach town level 1. So here's where you start getting into, whenever you start doing stuff like this in the main game, especially you're like, okay, now I got to have more workers. Now I got to do more wood. Now I got to do more chopping. So we're going to build what they're asking us to. Right now, everything's idle in a sense because we have nothing to do. But we can build a general store, and that basically, just like the base game, it sells basically crafted goods or upgraded or updated goods. And let's build one. And we're at a deficit, of course, because of what we need for it. And boom, this is done. And there you go. So if you want to go over to, you actually have to claim it, and then we can start doing the markets. Because you remember, the general store allows you to sell things, but the market is actually what sells the things, if that makes sense, which it should, because this is exactly how the base game works. Here, these are gaining slowly because we're at 0.3, 0.6 plus market. So here is where it gets a bit trickier. So basically, they want wood and they want planks. And right now we have, well, our fulfillment is basically 0%. They want 1.2. We're supplying this. And basically, the fulfillment score, this will turn from like this to like a yellow to a green to a blue. If you have, exactly. So right now, they want to have 1.2 wood per second. Well, we don't have 1.2 wood per second. So if we click on this, we're now at a deficit. So then you got to go back to harvesting, add another person. And there you go. See how this is going to work? Basically, you go to one thing. And planks, they want 1.2. We don't have 1.2, but if we click on it, we now are at a slight increase based on what we're actually, like, they're consuming. Excuse me. They're requesting 1.3 per second. We're fulfilling 0.5 per second. I think each click is 0.5 per second, which is fine because now we have a slight surplus, and here we have a slight surplus, and here this is not going to go down because our surplus is always going to be up until we start drawing more and more and more. So right now we're in the green. So we're doing exactly right. Good. Our town reached level 2, by the way, which also means you unlock more things. Or sorry, we reached level 1, excuse me. And it tells you up here, as you are selling things, which we're selling things, you actually are getting XP for them. So planks, you get more money for planks than you do wood because it costs. Can I do it through this one? I can't. Basically, a plank costs 2 wood. So if we're selling wood, if we're getting 1 coin for wood, we're getting 3 per planks. This essentially you be getting, it costs 2 to 1, so this should be costing you 2, but we're getting an extra coin out of that. You can't change the cost of this. Just like the main game, you pay what it pays. So right now we're doing fine. We have to reach level 2, and here we can produce 1k yellow coins. So what we can actually do is if we add another general store, it'll build. Of course, you're going to be at a deficit in the beginning, and now we have 2 left. So if we up this one and we up that one, now everybody's happy, and now we're fulfilling 1.0 per second. Well, now we have a deficit. Okay, crops. So construction, how do we get this back up? Okay, let's go to crafting. Let's add another person. We need to actually add 2 more, but we need an extra lumber, not people, lumber mill. We need 1 more lumber mill, and then we're going to fulfill this one. So now we have a surplus, but now we have a huge deficit as far as trees, but we have no people. So guess what? Now we got to build a bunch of houses. And the problem with that is eventually you're going to run out of money, or not money. You're going to run out of resources. So you have to go back to here. We're going to crank these out as many as we can because we're at a deficit here because we don't have enough here basically. So we're going to keep adding. Eventually these will equalize again. We just have to get to that stage. So right now we're doing fine. Here we're almost doing fine, and here we should be fine. But now you look up here, our resources now we're losing 0.61 per second because of this, which is not good. We'll get to that in a second. So your natural resources are things like that, like in the main game, you have your trees, you have your rocks. So as they're cutting them down, new ones are growing, but it's about, are you cutting them down faster than they regrow? And right here, basically, yes, we are. We're at a deficit of 0.5 per second, which is significant, actually. The construction of this, I wonder if I could cut this back 1. Or sorry, could go up to, oh no, never mind, I want to leave this where it is. Let's claim our next town, which now we're going to go to rock, another quest coin, of course. So basically, this is the same thing where we are at now. Now you see we have a lot more quests over here. And basically, quests are how you gain your quest coins, which allows you to get different perks, which we're going to get to very, very shortly, by the way. We have to produce 1k yellow coins. This is a passive thing. This is a passive thing because we're gaining experience, and then here build 15 houses. This is an active one, and then we get to do a school, which is what? Research. And now here we have to harvest 100 stone. So I could do this a different way. I could actually go into clickables, and I could click my own stone, right? Or we go to harvesting, and we actually allot people to this, which means what? We have to build more housing. build more housing. So let's just build 3 more. Again, you just have to keep an eye on this, but when you're constructing your buildings, you don't really want to look at this. You want to look at it when it's finished. When the houses are done, does this go back up? And the answer is, of course it will, because it was in the beginning. So you have to just be a little bit careful when you're building things. You queue them basically, but if you want to remove one, you remove one. If you want to build one, you build one. And you just have to keep an eye, because if this runs out to 0 and this runs down to 0, then you're going to have to go over here and you're going to have to click a whole bunch of wood like this to get back to where you want to be. And you don't really want to do that. So harvesting, we want to harvest some rock. I mean, how many people? We have 3, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. That's all we got to do. We are at a deficit. Now, rock, there's a lot more of it than wood, so we got to be careful with this wood. We don't want this to go down too much. But basically, all you do, if you start, if your incoming things, your base things are going down too fast, like this is at a red arrow, meaning it's going down fast, all you got to do is go to your market, cut something back like this, cut this back, and then eventually as these fill up, when these fill up, this will start going down less. But so far we're fine, so we're not going to do that. Actually, we do want to do one with stone, so let's go and hit stone. We're going to start selling some stone as well. And right now, where are we at with stone? Stone, we're at harvesting 0.8, and we have a surplus, so this is fine. But again, we're harvesting a lot more from this. We're actually harvesting a lot more wood. So wood is going to be a problem. Stone, or rock, I should say, costs. It's a lot. It's slower. Actually, no, sorry, it's the same speed, but we're having significantly less people. We're having 3 times as many people collecting trees, which maybe what we'll do is we'll cut a tree worker. Can we do that? And then we add a stone worker. As long as these numbers stay in the green when these are not full. When these are full, obviously these are going to be at 0 because there's no surplus anymore. All right, produce our yellow coins. Claim 1 coin. And then you can hit claim all if you have more than 1. Harvest 100 stone. Claim. Now, guess what? Now we can do the perks. So what that means is you click on, you get a daily reward, or a reward when you complete certain things. Now we have 12 quest coins. So let's click on this. So what this means, these are perks that we currently have. These are upgrades that you use for completing quests. You see some cost 2, some cost 5. The next levels will obviously cost more and more and more. So we have idle gain, which idle gain basically it's 25% worth of normal in-game progress. So you could let this run, and while the game is closed, it'll continue to run essentially like in the background, I guess kind of in the cloud type of thing. So that can be very, very good to gain experience, which we're going to hit this really soon. Boom, hit level 3. Awesome. We can actually claim this too, by the way. Town, your clicking power is basically when you click, you get more things. Town XP boost 20% more. So as you level up, you get more things, of course, more starting land. That's the next town. You'll get more land, but we started with a decent amount. Workers per house. This is pretty good. You have to build less housing, but once you build the house, you don't build it again. Construction efficiency lowers growth rate of building costs. This is by building buildings in a sense. Skill gain. You can level up your skills faster, which we're not at. We don't have skills quite yet. So we're not really, it's kind of irrelevant at this point, I believe, unless I'm thinking of something different. Natural resource regeneration, this is good. And natural resource capacity. So your natural resource capacity is 50% more just with 1 click. And here's regeneration. So how many do we have? We have 14. So I like having this because but the thing is, as we go along and we start harvesting things with foresters and stuff, it takes more people, but you get more out of it. But I mean, in the beginning like this, we're doing fine. We're going to do this 25%. The next one's going to be 50%, but it costs 7. We're going to do it because now our upgrade is 56% faster regeneration. So you see how much faster these went up, which means we can draw more and more and more. Natural resource capacity, we're going to up this to 50% more. So this is going to shoot up. It'll keep counting up. Actually, it didn't. I think it just ended right there. I think we were fine. Natural resource at 50% more max capacity. I think it just jumped right away by itself, actually. Next level is 125. So now we're down to 0 coins. So you see the next level is going to be 8, etc., etc. So these are really good, powerful things depending on how you do it. So when we reach town level 4, we get to unlock grain, which is the next thing. And then we start getting a food market. And here we start doing school. So basically right now we have to build more housing. But the thing is right now is we're producing a surplus of everything. So essentially what we could do is we could build another general store. Actually, we can build 2 general stores. And we can really start cranking out stuff. So I'm going to let the construction finish. And then obviously it tells you what you're selling based on what you can make. And this whole menu will get filled, by the way. So right now we're actually supplying almost what they want. So our fulfillment score is 3, fulfillment score is 1. So let's up this. There we're going to get fulfillment score of 3, and we're going to up this one again, and then we're at fulfillment score of 3, which is great. So right now we're losing wood. We need to harvest more wood. So let's go into our trees. Actually, we are. Hold on, are we producing enough? We're producing 0.4, but it says we're at a deficit. This is wood crop. Interesting. Because it still says this is at 1 point whatever. So let's just build a couple houses. And I want to go back into. So some of the menus are a bit kind of confusing, at least to me. I'm gonna do one more. Yeah, because now we're fine. Okay, now we're fine. And then this we're losing here. But it's it's a decent amount. But I'm gonna let it. Actually, you know what? Let's bump it up. That actually didn't even do anything, did it? Let's point a negative. Hold on a second. What? That's so weird. So if we have less people working, we're not going to be at a deficit anymore? Oh, it's a deficit based on regeneration. I'm sorry. We're at a deficit. Now we're not. This is the deficit based on regeneration, right? So that's where these numbers come into play. So if you go to these are the ones you want to focus on as far as, making things. So right now we're making everything we need. It's not super fast, but that's fine. It doesn't have to be super fast. Let's just build a couple more housing. I actually have to build a couple more anyway. So let's build 3 more. As soon as you start building something, you're going to be at a deficit right away. And you can see this is how fast it's going down, because to build a house, you now need planks and you need stone and you need coins, of course. And here it counts down how many you need till you complete it. And then the numbers will go back up, of course. Here we're at +1, which is 1 per second. This is 0.8. As long as these are in the positives, we're fine. These aren't as bad until you start getting way down here, and then you want to really cut back what you're doing. So in the markets right now, we have 2 more available. So obviously planks are bringing in more money than anything, and we have a surplus of 1. Let's bump these up all the way, well, up to what we can. Now we're getting a +5 fulfillment because they're requesting more, and now we're supplying. Well, we're supplying what they're requesting, I guess is basically how I would say it. And there you go. So we're actually doing good. Now we can claim our housing reward. We get a escuela, a school, and now we can do grains. So now we're going to start. Now we're getting into a little bit trickier stuff, because we're going to get into doing a food market, which is what we have to do for grain. So all we have to do here is basically we have to harvest grain. We have how many people? We can do 2 people. Right now there's going to be no deficit or there's no deficit because there isn't. But again, we can go here. We can just click the grain ourselves just to get this right there. Boom, claimed. Now we have food market. Now we're getting into the, again, these won't go up they will go up as they start harvesting, but it's a lot slower than if we click it, right? +3, 6.9, 5.1. It goes really, really quickly that way, of course. So the next thing we got to do is now we start getting into, we actually have stockpiles, which stockpiles provide 50 storage per building for these items. So one of these is actually pretty good. It'll add storage to this eventually, it'll just add, it will add storage to it. The maximum amount of storage, of course, because now we're going to be at 300, 300, etc., etc. So here, stockpiles, we don't need any more of these. We're fine with these. And now we do have to go with school, and we also have food markets. Let's just build the school. Let's just get that out of the way, because you can build multiple of everything, right? But school is going to be research, which we're not going to do any research right yet, because once we get into research, now we're into things like workshops, hardware stores. This is where we're getting red coins, which I don't want to jump up that quickly. 10 resources give you a menu upgrades, which this is something we have to work towards as well. And then here we're kind of cruising along. Can we do anything for 5? So right now our natural resource gain is fine. Resource capacity, I don't really need to upgrade this anymore. Skill gain, speed 20%, construction efficiency, research efficiency. This is actually pretty good too. We're at 5 coins. Workers per house, starting land, town XP boost. I do like this as well. Click power. This is pretty powerful. And then idle gain, which is right now we're at 25%. So I think what I want to do is I want to actually do the workers per house. I think makes sense. And there we go. Now we actually have 20% more workers per house, which is why we now have 6. If you hover over the house, it just says 1.2 workers now, right? Because we have more than, well, just one basically. So right now we're kind of idle. We have the market. We have to now sell grain though, unfortunately. We have a lot of grain coming in. How many we actually have? How many food markets do we have? Oh, we have no food markets. So let's just build 2 food markets. Again, they cost planks and they cost stone. So this goes down as soon as they're built. It'll obviously go back up just like as soon as that's done. Boom, we're going to now have a surplus of things. Let's go to the market. We have, how many do we have? We have 2 food markets. Let's sell 2 grains. Actually, we have, how many do we actually have left? 2. So right now our deficit of grain is pretty bad. So I don't want to get more than that for what we have, which is fine. Our fulfillment right now is almost what we need it to. And then the fulfillment score is 3, which obviously just gives you, what does the fulfillment score even give you? I'm not sure how that even works, honestly. I think it's just that they request it so they're happier. I'm not sure what fulfillment score actually means at this point. I'm not really sure. It could be something up in here. Okay. Oh, I think it's this. No, this is surplus is 5.5. That's not it. I wonder what. So the fulfillment score, that I'm not exactly sure what that gives you. Because it doesn't actually give you more coins. I think it just allows you to sell more. That's what it's basically doing. So instead of selling, 0.5 per second, which means we're getting a coin every, 2 seconds or something like that. Now we're getting coins every 1 second. So basically that's how the fulfillment works. The higher the percentage, the more money you make because of it being faster. Right now, this one we're kind of overclocking at 174%, but it's fine because we are making more money off of it. So right now we have not a surplus, we have a deficit of what? Of grain. Grain is always one of those tricky things. Let's bump this up 2 more. Now we have a plus. I'm going to go even 1 more, which we're fine. We still have a huge surplus of this, by the way, which is actually a good thing for us. Right now we're doing pretty good with all of these things. So we're not going to advance at all until we start doing research, right? This is going to go up slowly, which is fine. We just have to get level 5, which we're doing it. Now we're up to, 1.5K, which is a lot. Now research. So obviously completed are ones that are completed, which is 0. Locked are basically all of the ones. I mean, they're basically everyone that's in the game. You have your ether power. Like, it gets really complex as we go along. So a food mill basically will do what? It will provide flour, animal feed, sugar, etc. A workshop, this is what we actually need to get the red coins. Quarry will give us masonry and prospecting for rock, which this will change the way that we get rock, basically. So right now we still have a deficit, but we have a huge amount here, so there's no real issue. Plus we have, we don't really need many rock right now. A water bucket is one of those things that you actually is a natural resources that you actually will sell as well. So I think what we'll do is let's just research this first. Boom, boom. And, we're going to be at a deficit because right now our water bucket is demanding 1. And basically now we're back up to where we were at 0.05. This will fluctuate on off a little bit. It takes a little bit of time. Again, the more schools you have, we could probably build another school, because why not? And it makes the same noises as like the regular game does, which is kind of cool as well. Let's double this up. So now it's going to take 40 seconds. Obviously, our consumption's a lot higher right now because we're doubling it. So we're at a deficit of 0.95, which is basically 1 per second less. But again, this is only going to last for 20 seconds. We're only going to lose like 20, 30, and then it'll go right back up to where we were. So water buckets are actually going to be in your market because people will want water buckets. I think that goes under your food. I'm not really sure. We'll find out in about 17 seconds. So we then have to start working on a workshop. Now, again, you can click. I can't click on it because I don't have anything to do it with. It costs 200 coins. We have tons of coins right now. We're bringing in a decent amount of coins. We're bringing in a decent amount of experience, which is really, really good, by the way. They want us to do a food mill because then we can start we can start doing flour and stuff, but I don't want to do that quite yet. Let's complete our water bucket. Now we can do farming, forestry, paper, as far as the rewards of things we can now do. But we want to go to markets. Now we want to do water, push water to 2. And our deficit right now of water is terrible because we are at a huge deficit because we have to harvest the water. So we're going to harvest it until this goes back up, which is going to be, let's build a couple more houses. 3 more houses. And you have to kind of go slow here. 1 more house. This should, not another house. Oh yeah, sorry, another house. that should tick us over, because you always want to have a surplus. Even if it's a little surplus, you still want to have a surplus, in my opinion. We want to have a surplus. We don't have a surplus of rock, so to speak. Well, we do here a little bit, but not based on the regeneration, which is fine. The water, I actually want the water to go a little bit more because we're selling water, right? And it's fulfillment. People are liking the water, which is great. I want to do another food market just to have another one. But as you see, our minerals here are going down. Minerals in our constructions. This is only 0.5 per second. How can we get more rock? Well, we could either do it ourselves by clicking it. But we have to go to harvesting, and we have to harvest more rock. So that does mean we need more people. Wood, we're actually at a pretty good surplus. Can I knock one back? I can't knock one back at all, can I? I cannot. This is where we're having tons more houses. Let's just build 5 more, which we can't because we don't actually have stone bricks. So they do require stone bricks now. Stone bricks are made how? Well, we don't know yet. We need to make that in a that will be made in a, see, stone bricks are made where? I think they're made in a workshop. No, where are the bricks made? Rock, farming, forestry, paper. So where are the bricks being made at? That I have to figure out. So some things aren't that like intuitive. See, actually, I think we actually have to research that. No, we have a research will unlock what? Produces these items. I don't know what that middle one is, because if you click on it, what does this tell you? What is that? It doesn't tell you what it is. Refined plank, we're not quite there yet. Shoots are cool. Harvester, we don't need these quite yet. A quarry researches masonry, and I think masonry is where we make the stone bricks that we need, which are these here. So we actually have to go back to quarry first. So let's close this away. Go back to quarry. We can do it quite quickly with new quarry. So that's the thing. As you level up, different things, well, basically cost more, or you have to not cost more, but they require more resources. I don't want to upgrade my auto gain. I'm not really worried about that right now. I just want this to finish in 30 seconds, and when this is done, then we can get the masonry, and then we're like, we have a lot of, it's like the regular game. It gets complicated, very fast. I'm just gonna buying time here for this offense because we can't build any houses because we have no stone bricks at all. So that's where we're stuck. We have 5 queued already. This is at a deficit because of the houses and also the research. We're demanding 22 per second, but we're supplying 0 because of that. It's fine. Researching the quarry right now. This will eventually end, and then this -2 will go back into here. We'll actually have a surplus just like that. So let's go back into research again, because now we have the quarry, but now we have to do what? Now we have to do masonry. Masonry is going to be here. That requires a stone brick. We have 200 stone. This should go pretty well, not quickly. It takes 200 stone. We have tons of stone. Back here, we can now build a quarry. Now, what quarries do is quarries generate rock. Because right now we're at a deficit, but not a lot. So I'm not going to hold off building a quarry unless I have to build it, because this is where you would actually put people to, can I click on that? To work, which would obviously bring it. So you put it here, or sorry, it would be under, oh, it would just be under here. Sorry, this is how many we can build, and that'll be a certain amount per time or whatever. So there we go. Because the quarry only produces basically rock. That's all it does. And right now, we have a deficit of rock because we're researching. We have, how long do we have? We have 1 more minute to go. Can we build another school? That's the question. Can we build another school? We can build one more. Let's build one. That'll be 5 seconds, and then we can up this a bit just to make it go a little bit faster. And there we go. The faster you go, the more your stuff, more deficit you have, which basically that's under here and under rock. We can't build any housing. What can we actually cut back? We could probably cut back on water, quite a lot actually, and put this all under rock. We're still at a deficit though, unfortunately. Grain, we could probably cut back 2, put them into rock, and then you can fiddle with these. As you level up, you do unlock things that will auto sort these things, like based on priority. We're just not anywhere near that yet, like at all. All right, good. Now minerals are doing very well with minerals. I'm going to cut this back. I'm going to put 1 into grain, research, masonry complete. Okay, now we're good. Because now what we can do is we go into buildings. We can now build a stonemason. We're going to build 3 of these, I think, for now. Let them build, and now we can start getting, if you have to kind of do things, stonemason claimed. Now look at all these things we have: a hearth, quarry, You might as well just buy the quarry, build the quarry while we're here, just to get it done, because we'll get a point for that, and then we can access prospecting. So we'll leave that alone for right now. But basically, what we want to do is prospecting here is where you're taking it from your natural resource regeneration, and you're applying, you know, a person to it, which basically gives you what? It gives you a 0.5 speed to that. In addition to harvesting from this, which the harvesting right now is giving you, let's see, a baseline of 0.25, right? Prospecting gives you a baseline of 0.5. So it's more efficient to do this, but this requires you building quarries. So eventually you slide back into doing quarries. We're just not there yet. So we're not going to focus on that quite yet. I want to get this stuff up and running, which basically means we're going to go into the stonemason. We have 3 people in the stonemason, and why are we not building anything here? Construction, demand, stonemason. Oh, it's because we're not crafting anything. How many? We have 3. Let's craft 3. So right now we're still bringing in tons, and the reason why this is still at a huge deficit is because we're doing it to build housing. That's basically why, because we're building 5 houses. If I cancel, you're right, 3%. If I cancel all of these, if I just cancel these for now, right? Let it just do its thing. Now stone brick, we're at a positive. We could build 1 more mason as well. And again, whenever you're constructing a building, you can't really look at these numbers. It's after it's constructed. So right now we're actually losing minerals. So what we want to do, we're going to go prospecting. We're going to build quarries cost. What do quarries actually cost? They cost, oh, we can build 4 of these, I think. And when these are all finished, we'll actually, I mean, it builds very, very quickly. They build in like 5 seconds. I just want to see when all these are built, we have another 5 or 6 seconds to go. 2 more to go, 1 more to go, 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when this is done, let's see where we're at. Okay, perfect. Prospecting, let's bump all this up to 5. Okay, so now what we're doing with these 5, this 5, we're bringing in a total of 2.75 with 5, right? So here we have 5. Here we're bringing in a total of 2.75. So it is the same, but also we have a bonus here because we have our skill level is up, because as you, well, get rock, your skill level goes up. Under here, our skill level is at level 1. Now we're at level 2. So right now we're at, our actual production is +3. And you see how fast this is? So right now our production is 3 per second. At the same with 5 here, or at 2.5. So what we got to do is we're going to cut these back, right? Basically turn it off. And then we're going to build, well, actually we don't have to build anything, because right now we are actually, we are at quite a bit of a deficit. So all we got to do is come in here. We got to build 5 more of these. Again, what these do though, these take up land claims, or land, I guess. How are we doing on quarries? Now we're running out of, oh, we actually need refined planks now. So there you go. Now we got to go back into crafting. We can't do refined planks yet. So see how this, it compounds how hard it gets. So we got to bump this back up to as much as we can, obviously. We could probably cut wood back 2 right now, bump this up. Now we're at a positive. So you can see how it's like, you know, these are definitely better, but you have to have the resources to build these, right? So we're actually going to cut this. Actually, no, I'm going to leave it at 5, because 5 of these at the level we're going to do is going to bring in significantly more than what this is. We just have to do these for now. We're bringing in tons. Now this is how much we have. We're getting plus 57 surplus here. Like we have so much extra here. Here we're at 0.02, so we're gonna have to bump up. Can we build another house? We could actually build 2 houses with materials that we have on site. So we want to go into here. Let's bump this up 1 more. I want to get a nice stockpile of this stuff. Excuse me, and there we go. Buildings we have, all right, they're all built. Quarry prospecting is at 0%. Oh, because we can't, okay, this is just building. We can't build anymore, of course. So markets, now it's like, now we can start selling stone bricks. We're not making that many stone bricks. Can we sell? We're selling planks. We shouldn't really be selling planks. We should cut that back, put this up 1. At least we're selling a little bit here. And this is all about coins coming in. Because eventually what you want to do, guys, right, just like the main game, is you want to stop selling things like your coin, but your basic rocks, because they're only bringing in 1 coin. But the problem is it's a fulfillment score. So if you cut this back to 0, your fulfillment here is basically your XP multiplier goes way down. That's the problem with doing it like that. So you have to satisfy everything. The game never, like the main game never used to work that way, but now it does, which is fine. So right now we're having issues with trees. So I think we're going to cut back one. Oh, now we're actually at a deficit. What can I cut back here? Cut back 1 grain maybe, and then we're going to up or that. And we can't build any more. Actually, we can build 3 more houses. And then I want to get a couple more tree makers. Yeah, and actually, we're actually out of these right now, big time out of it. So we're bringing in, what, 1.6 per second. Where are we at on buildings right now? 10 more seconds to 1 is done, which is at least going to be helpful for us. Research, we're not doing any research. So here we got to be careful what we research. These things all cost stone bricks, which we have like 0 of right now. Paper, what does paper do? Paper will allow us to do bookstore and a study. This helps with researching advanced things, which are not there yet. A hearth gives you what? It gives you heat, I guess. You can't click on these. Oops, we're not actually quite there yet anyway, which is fine as well. We can click, oh, now we can get apple trees. So again, whenever you claim something is when they're going to request it, and you got to be careful with that. So here we have forestry. Basically, forestry provides storage, and you can build a forester, which a forester does. Oh, it regenerates trees and regenerates apple trees. So we have to eventually, just like the quarry, we want, like with prospecting, we want to start moving into this, because look at right now, we're now bringing in 4.2 per second with 5. Here we have more than double that, and we're bringing in not double. It should be at 9, right? So this is kind of where we're at. Well, we're doing okay. I'm not going to fuss about it. They want apples. We're not getting anything for this. It's not like we're getting a negative. They just want apples, and we have no apples. That's going to come into here, apples. And we have, actually, we could actually, no, we got to bump up our tree production. And now we're out of houses again. So you see how, like, the game works. You start, you come back here, we're reduced, our planks are going down, so we have to, what, add another mill. And what do lumber mills actually cost now? They cost the same what they used to, which is good. So we're going to now bump that up. Now we're fine there, but now our wood's going backwards. So now we have to have more people doing wood. So you see how this can be very, very, like, why it's a clicker, but it's hugely, if you're into, like, we're actually going to end the day here, guys. But if you're like into these type of clickables, this is very, very, very much micromanaging. Micromanaging this is not more than the base game, because there you have to deal with physical tree patches and physical rock patches that deplete over time. This depletes over time, but not really. I mean, it'll take a long time to exhaust 43,000 rock, really. Like, and then when you have this, it means you're producing so much more water. We have a surplus of 61 per second surplus for now, But anyway, guys, we're gonna end it here. I'm gonna make a series out of this. I'm not sure how many episodes we'll do, but we'll do a bunch, because like when I did my little demo game through, I only got through a little bit more than where we're at now, and it's hugely about micromanaging everything, and that's why I like that part of the game. It's fun, because basically what you want is you want everything to be in green. Anything's in yellow, it means you're in trouble. If it's in red, you're in real trouble, which is basically where we're at here, because we have no stone bricks, because we're hardly making stone bricks. Why we're not making stone bricks? Because we don't have, we need more stonemasons, and stonemasons cost what? They cost rock, and they cost this. Do we have enough? Kind of have enough, but not really. It's going to go back here, add more stone brick. There you go. So it's always a fighting battle. You want to get basically what you want to do is you want to get your markets at a good level here. Like right now we're barely selling ones. We're hardly getting any from this, right? It's going so slow because you don't have anything. You want to get your food markets and your market set up. And basically the way you're doing this is the more people or the more things you allot to a certain type, the faster coin gain you're going to get, but the more of a drain on your resources. Like if we cut this back to this, look, this is going to go way up. If we cut planks back, planks are going to go way up. So it's a balance of do you need a lot of coins right now? Do you not need a lot of coins? Which right now we don't, but we will eventually. And before we end the episode, let's go to here. We have 7 coins. We don't need this. We don't need this. Skill gain speed. So the skills that we level up, I'm still not really sure where the skills are at, because we're not quite, I don't know where the skills are, because we have no skills that we can put things into. So I'm not really sure what we have to do with this yet. I think that might come later on. Construction efficiency, this is 5%. Research efficiency, let's just do research efficiency. Workers per house, actually this is 44. More showing land. XP boost, XP is good as well, 20%. Click power, idle gain. So I think what we'll do, let's just do research efficiency because it does take a lot of materials. Upgrade that. Now it takes 10%. The next one will be 19%, etc., etc. So we're going to end it here, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving me a like as well as a comment. And if you enjoyed this type of game or any other video on my channel, hit the subscribe button, take the bell notification icon. Also follow me and subscribe to my second channel, which is called The Ontario Gardener second channel, where I have everything about my life that has nothing to do with gaming. My farming, my honeybees, my general life, renovations, etc., fixing carburetors, all that type of stuff. Head on over there. There's lots of videos coming out in the next few weeks. And I'll catch you guys in the next Factory Town Idle episode. Take care now.